I do want to give a shout out to a young king. Rumble, young man, Rumble, Anthony Edwards. Let's get a round of applause.
Yes.
Big move. Big move in father history.
Ant-Man.
Thank you, Anthony.
I didn't think it was going to be Ant-Man to do it. Ant-Man doesn't get enough love.
Always the least expected.
Yeah, in the Marvel series, Ant-Man don't get enough appreciation. We got to start giving Ant-Man more love in the Marvel series, man.
Already a legend in 2 games.
Oh, my God. On and off the court. I mean, what are we talking about here, man? Shout out to Anthony Edwards. He's been going through a child support situation over his one of his, because I'm hearing reading now that he has 2 more on the way. He has 3 kids by 3 different baby mothers, or 4 kids by. And let me start with this: condoms, either that or a vasectomy. You might want to look into a vasectomy, and I understand that you probably are, have a wide array of options now that you are an NBA superstar. You're an Adidas superstar. You're probably going to make close to $1 billion before your playing career is over. But you don't want to look up and look back and, just made a bunch of kids with a bunch of women that you really didn't love or care about and have,
We've seen the leaked text messages. He loves all of them.
Yeah, but he, just
takes all of them seriously.
Listen, man, if you don't want to wear a condom, I know a lot of my homies that, play ball, they play professional sports. A few of them have gotten a vasectomy. Just get the nip and tuck, man, and then you can reverse it when you're ready.
Yeah.
When you're ready to have some kids, you can turn the faucet back on. But yeah, man, you might want to look into getting a vasectomy, man, because I get it. You got all this money, but you don't want to just be cashing out $1.8 million for every, woman that you have a baby with. It just, just that energy and that karma is just a little nasty.
But what a move. I feel like there's fathers around the world that are wondering, I didn't know I could do that. Can we look up Anthony Edwards' contract now? How many more years does he have left on his contract?
I mean, it doesn't matter. They're going to keep reeing him up.
And the way he's been playing, obviously, is going to be more and more money, which would increase your child support based off your income. If this contract's up and he already had the 1.8, she has no entitlement to the re-up, right?
No, it's over. 1.8 will cover 18 years of
signed 5 years.
Yeah, right now he's on a 5-year, $245 million contract. He'll probably double that on the re-up.
What a fucking move.
So yeah, man, but you don't want to just have a bunch of kids just because you have money to pay women off for 18 years. Like you don't want that type of shit.
What if he has a breeding fetish? I found out that's a thing.
Oh man, I mean, then that's a whole nother conversation he needs to have. If he has a breeding fetish,
that's a thing.
No, I know. I realize it's a thing. I don't think that's our thing. I think that's y'all people's thing. I think that's white people shit.
Shit.
Can I introduce you to Nicholas Cannon?
But is that a breeding fetish though? You think?
Yes.
What do you think? I think. Well, me personally, I think Nick was going through some health shit, and I think that he probably felt like, he was probably not going to have many more years of good health or life. And I think that he wanted to just have a legacy and have a bunch of kids. I don't think it's a breeding fetish, though.
Wayne has pretty much admitted to having one. But again, that was at the time when he was on a lot of drugs during that interview. But he had said that he thinks the best gift that you can give a woman is a child. And he was buying chicks bags, all that. It wasn't fulfilling him at all. So he was like, I'm just going to give these bitches babies.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's a breeding fetish.
Yeah, it's still weird. I don't care what it is. It's a weird thing to have.
It's a strong attraction to the idea of getting someone else pregnant. Frequently, this fetish involves a person with a penis ejaculating into someone's uterus, breeding them. People with breeding fetish generally enjoy the risky feeling of potentially permanent consequence from a sexual act.
I like listening
that's a sick person.
I like listening to them dance. I like listening to them dance around words so they don't insult anybody who might not identify with a certain gender. Like you read that again from the top.
Just this part. People with a breeding fetish generally enjoy the risky, in quotations, risky feeling of a potentially permanent consequence from a sexual act.
Permanent consequence.
Yeah. All right, so go to an AIDS convention and just go nuts then.
Okay, don't do that.
But
no, please don't want to do that.
That's a risky, permanent consequence of a sexual act, no?
Yeah, but we don't want to, that's just...
Let's not do that.
They may also enjoy a feeling of power exchange where one partner is submitting to the other. That's not really... There's other dom shit you could do.
Yeah, go buy a collar and put it on around her neck and choke her with it or something. I don't know.
And then you become the sub after child support.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
That's the dom fetish right there.
If she says nut in me daddy and you really do it and get trapped for 18 years, who was really the one in power at that point?
For some, breeding fetish may be more about role play and fantasy, and partners engaging in it will get pregnant.
But I mean,
that's you could get a plan B. You could play out your fantasies, do all that shit, but there's other ways to not keep it permanent.
Yeah, birth control on both parts. But there's a bigger conversation because, I've seen a lot of people joining in on the conversation after, if this is true or not. I think the mother came out and spoke. But it is a conversation to have, especially with men who are better off, obviously making a lot of money, the 1% of men in the world that make this type of money. There is a conversation to have of, if you have this conversation with somebody while you're having sex and he lets you know, like, listen, I don't want to have a baby.
Yeah, but that ruins the mood.
But let's have the conversation. I don't want to have a child. Obviously, you don't have to fully ejaculate inside of a woman for to get pregnant. It could be pre-cum, whatever that a woman gets pregnant from. But there is a conversation to have if, your partner, your sexual partner says, hey, listen, if, I don't want a kid, if you get pregnant, my choice is to not have the kid. I don't want to have a child with you. And in that moment, if, we're not in the bedroom with these consenting adults, but in that moment, if the woman is like, yeah, I'm not trying to have no baby with you. I don't want to.
Record it and make her sign paperwork.
I mean, but do you have to go to those lengths though? Should you have to go to those lengths?
Here's safety advice and special considerations. Fantasizing about your breeding fetish while masturbating is a common and safe way for people to enjoy it on their own. When a breeding fetish is with a partner, it's just about fantasy. That can also be safe. Breeding roleplay can range from talking about the fetish during sex to actively acting out a scene. When it is more than roleplay, however, that bitch is going to get pregnant, which is significantly risky. People have STDs as well, so you should look out for that.
I just say get a vasectomy, man. Get it snipped. Turn the faucet off. You still come, you still get the sensation, everything. The sperm just don't work. It ain't swimming.
If you're his coach, do you have that conversation, or do you kind of let personal lives be personal lives? Because it's
absolutely. I mean, well,
it's starting to affect some way because it's always a leaked text message. Like it's always
not necessarily his coach, but
PR
somebody in his camp, in his corner. I don't know his family's dynamic. I don't know if he has any older brothers or uncles or any other men that he looks up to for advice. This type of advice in particular. But these are the conversations that you need to have with those men that are in your life that you respect and that you look to for those type of moments. Because again, Anthony Edwards is financially set, his family's financially set, his kids will be, okay for the most part for a very long time. But again, you just don't want to just have random babies with, women that you just had an attraction to for a couple weeks, and now you have this life that you created. And just because you have access to all of this money, you feel like, okay, well, I'll just give her 18 years worth of child support right now. We don't have to go to court for it. Take this $1.82 million. Don't ask me for nothing else. Like, I get that part of it. It's not no burden on you, but it's just, we don't need, because then what happens is the kids become adults and they have this resentment and they have this energy for you. And then you have, people that just have this trauma knowing that they came from a situation where father didn't really want them. Mom might have quote unquote trapped my dad, and my dad wasn't ready for a baby. Now you have to have more therapy sessions and things like that. It just breeds a lot of things in the future that's just not healthy and doesn't make for a healthy family and a healthy dynamic between father and child. So if Anthony Edwards, listen, go get that little snip, man, and then have your fun. Do what you want to do.
Well, I mean, thank God, because I was up all night thinking about this situation. Aisha Howard finally broke her silence on whether she's a gold digger or not, because obviously she has a child with a little baby as well, and now one with Anthony Edwards. I mean, I was tossing and turning, waiting for some type of communication from her. And basically she's just saying, y'all hoes is broke.
Well, yeah, she said that in so many words. She said that, when women decide to have babies with broke guys, people say, oh, you have a broke guy fetish, or, you just...
broke guy. I mean, no, she cooking.
No, she's not cooking. She's stealing money. Like, that's what she's doing.
She brings up a good point, because everyone's calling her a gold digger or whatever. She's like, yes, I have a baby by a very successful rapper, and now I have a baby by a very successful athlete. She's not the first chick to have two baby fathers in the world.
Definitely not the first and won't be the last.
She said, what if I came to y'all pages, right? I was at the edge of my seat. Once she said the right, because we all were like, right? And compared the men that you have children with to the men that I have children with. And I said, you were digging for poverty, bitch, when you... when you picked him to be your baby daddy, weren't you? And I was at the edge of my seat. I was like, yeah. Or you kept that baby for an extra income tax credit, didn't you? Spitting. She wasn't finished. Howard claimed critics secretly wish they were in her position, but can't because they don't have the same opportunities. How are you going to tell me what you would have done in my situation when you had a baby from your weed man?
She really said that?
Yes, this is TMZ.com.
I'm crying.
She concluded in her almost 8-minute video by praying for mothers who recently gave birth and expressed sympathy for those dealing with mean and ignorant people on social media. The internet showed me no grace while I was pregnant. Y'all showed me no grace. Y'all have money for weed.
The "you must have been digging for poverty" is fucking hysterical. I'm sorry.
I mean, she made some points.
Like,
she made some points, but up again, you know, it's the adults are the adults. However she chose to have this kid is her business. She has that right. I'm thinking about the kids once they get to an age where they now understand the dynamic between mom and dad and what happened and things like that. Like, it's just going to breed future resentment and terrible dynamics and energy between mother, father, and child.
I mean, but is it like, this isn't that crazy of a story to me with the Lil Baby and Anthony Edwards thing. Like, Michel'le has children with Dr. Dre and Suge Knight. Nas's baby mother said that she had a miscarriage from Jay-Z. There could be a chance there would have been a child that their siblings would Nas would have been the dad and Jay-Z would have been the dad.
yeah, that
Like,
goes,
this is very fucking common.
Did y'all want her to go get pregnant by like a fucking Greyhound bus driver? Like, she has, but one baby father got money. She dates in that circle. That's her circle. I don't understand why people are making her.
And respectfully, don't mean to put this on her jacket, hypothetically, she's probably slept with other people besides those two men that were successful and didn't have a child with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so, the thing that people are pointing to is the fact that they're saying that Anthony Edwards basically told her that he didn't want to have a baby.
He's been very clear about that from the gate.
Right.
But the weed man says that too.
And she kept the baby and she decided to have the baby. So, you know, Anthony Edwards is saying, well, I know what this is about. This is money. She's about money. She went, okay, so here, take this 18 years of child support right now, here today. We don't have to drag this out. This is about money. So then now you're having kids based on financial exchanges.